I'm going to explain the main differences between a Casino and a 335 in the most simplest way possible. The Epiphone Casino and the Gibson, and particularly the Epiphone ES-335, are two absolute icons when it comes to the semi-hollow and hollow guitar world. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the history of them or any sort of practical uses and whatnot. What I'm going to get into is purely just the main differences that will really affect your choice in picking these guitars. We are going to do a full sound comparison as well, where I'm going to play the same riffs on each. So if you do want to skip to that, you can check the description just below or the timeline of the video. You'll be able to check those out. But there's a few key differences that I just want to point out, which again, probably help you make the right decision for the guitar. So let's just jump in with my first point. This is number one here, and I think this is probably going to be the key factor when it comes to choosing which guitar you want here. So if you look at both guitars, they're both very similar in terms of their looks. They both got this double cutaway design to them, and actually in terms of like their necks and the way that they're put together, they're very, very similar in terms of that. But as I said, I'm going to be pointing out the main differences. So the main difference with these is actually that the ES-335 is known as a semi-hollow guitar, which means that through the middle, let me put the Casino down very quickly. Through the middle of this guitar, there's a big block of wood, and basically each side is hollow. What that'll do is it'll give you that kind of warm, sort of airy tone, but, and a point that I'll make in just a second, it does help when you're playing at higher gain levels. Which means if we look at the Casino, this is actually a fully hollow guitar. And you'll just actually hear from my mic here how resonant it is as well. So super loud just by itself. It's almost kind of got, you know, a semi sort of acoustic guitar quality to it, but it's very much still an electric guitar. Now the point that I do want to make, and this is probably going to be the key deciding factor with the guitars. When you have a fully hollow electric guitar like this, when you're running them at a pretty high gain, it does have a tendency to feed back. Now, by all means, you run any guitar at a high gain, it probably will give you a little bit of feedback as well. But even, again, just within the room here, I can turn on a distortion pedal with the quad cortex here. And it gets pretty hot there. Whereas if I did the same with the ES-335, and you'll hear that in the sounds, I'm going to run them at some pretty high gain a little bit later with the both of them, and this can just handle that a little bit better. And actually, while we're on the body as well, it is worth mentioning the construction of both of the tailpieces on the guitars there, with the ES-335 going for the more traditional Gibson tune-o-matic bridge option. Anybody who's used a Les Paul, an SG, anything like that, you'll know exactly how this works. But they're just anchored in at that little bottom tailpiece there. Whereas with the Casino, it's gone for a more vintage look. This is the trapeze tailpiece. Now, both essentially give you exactly the same sort of function. You know, they anchor your strings in and will mean that they don't pop off when you're playing. But with the Casino, as I said, it's gone for the more kind of old school way, and actually, if you can see it from there as well, it is floating off the body. Whereas with the tune-o-matic, it's a little bit more sort of bolted down and a little bit more secure. I've not found any issues with either when it comes to tuning or anything like that, but by all means, when it comes to restringing each guitar, the trapeze bridge can just be that little bit extra fiddly. So again, worth keeping that in mind. And while we're still on the body as well, having a look at the joints in the necks here, the Casino does go a little bit higher up with its horns, giving you a little bit more difficult access to those higher frets. So again, worth keeping in mind if you do plan on going up to that end. Now, the last point that I do want to make, and this is probably going to be one of the most dramatic changes to your sound, particularly on which guitar that you want to pick, and that is with the pickups. Now, by all means, the combination of the pickups per guitar body, in terms of the fully hollow and the semi-hollow with this is definitely being considered, with the Casino going with a set of P90 pickups on those. Now they are essentially sitting in between single coils and humbuckers. You can still get them pretty hot, you can still get them distorted and all that, but they are actually quite chimey as well, and certainly you'll get a little bit more hiss and a little bit more uncontrollableness when you are on higher gain. Whereas the 335 again goes for the more traditional Gibson humbucker setup here. Now these are Epiphone Alnico pickups that are in this one. There are some other ES-335s that have slightly different pickups in them as well, but with these ones they can handle, you know, kind of like low cleans, much higher gain as well. They're going to be that little bit warmer too, especially on the cleans, so if you do quite like a sort of sparkly clean tone, which again you'll hear just in a second, then maybe check out the Casino. So those are the points that I would say are the most sort of, you know, the biggest variables when it comes to picking which one you want to go for in these two guitars. They can both handle quite similar things, but certainly they can handle things a lot, like say, for example, as I said, the distortion with the ES-335 can handle a lot more than the Casino, whereas the cleans on the Casino maybe going to be a bit more pleasant to some people. So let's just jump right into the sounds and the comparisons between these guitars. guide gave you an idea of which semi-hollow or hollow body you want to go for in the Epiphone lineup. As I mentioned several times before, each guitar can do kind of the same thing as the other, but just each one has their own strengths. And by all means, there's no saying that you can't play big, huge fuzzy riffs on something like that and just, you know, really harness that feedback. Or you couldn't play, you know, some really nice, clean, even jazz stuff on something like the ES-335. But let us know down in the comments if this did help you at all, and if you do want to see us do a quick guide on the differences between several different guitars. Happy to do something like Strat versus Tele, or anything for that, you know, kind of inclination. But until next time, I've been Kieran, and this has been a quick guide between the differences between a Casino and an ES-335. Have a great day.